You choose.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being there. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being who you are. And so we're back here with Emily. Let me see. Let's start with.
But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is here here or is here there?
No, it's here. Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this thing. So I found this app, which is pretty crazy, and I want to share with you. I guess it's not going to be a problem to share this.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this thing is an artificial intelligence art thing that what it does is it turns text into images, and you can add kind of an art style or a kind of filter, whatever. And
okay.
I've been playing with it, putting no filter and just adding words and seeing what comes up. You know?
Okay, let's see.
Let me see. Like, for example, this was one of the ones that started me getting very trippy about this thing. So let's see.
All right.
Okay, let's, for example, start with this. And it's interesting as it starts creating the thing, you start you start having a kind of interesting experience as well. And as I was exploring this, I started trying to understand how the artificial intelligence creates these pictures. Like it's probably like taking images from Google, from Pinterest, whatever, that are connected to the words you use, and kind of making a kind of amalgam or synthesis of all of that. And here we wrote Terence McKenna, and you're starting to kind of see something, right?
Yeah.
Those things, yeah. So, right, it's pretty interesting.
Okay, so now enter Emily Moyer. Let's see. It happens to Emily Moyer.
Yeah. So probably, for example, when I write my name, I start getting like the face of somebody that I think there's a politician in like Nicaragua or one of these countries in South America or Central America that we share the same name and last name.
The fuck is that?
And kind of his face seems to appear in the picture.
Yeah.
There you are.
That is weird. That is like, what the fuck is that?
Very trippy, right?
That is very trippy. Okay, now here's another one. Okay, cold fusion.
It's interesting. Like people, it kind of creates these sort of monstrosities when you put people in the text. But when you put more like abstract terms, it comes up with very interesting, like subconscious, archetypical, poetic, symbolic kind of images.
Okay, so I had you do that for a reason, that one, okay? And here's why. So this is interesting what you're showing me. And I don't know what your thoughts are as to why are you showing me this?
Because I think we can try several things and they work. For me, it's been working kind of like an exercise in like free association or something very, very very psychedelic, mind manifesting. Okay,
so you can go off the screen share, so right for a second, but leave that one there because maybe we'll come back to it. So we'll leave that one there. Okay, so sometime in like 2009, something like that, I became aware of this website called DeviantArt. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been on DeviantArt? Okay. So I would go there and look at art especially I like to do this when I was on drugs, right? When I was up for a long time on methamphetamines, right? But my favorite time to do it was when I would come back from a party, right? I had been at a party, like listened to techno music, maybe I ate mushrooms, also on meth, whatever, right? But one of the things I started to notice, and Randy and I, you can go back and like early shows I did with Randy, we talked about this. I started to feel like there was something about DeviantArt. There was an AI that was running it, that was like early on monitoring response to certain images to help curate for you. And I don't just mean, oh, Emily likes to look at sacred geometry, so we're going to show her sacred geometry. Or Emily likes Mandelbrot sets, or Emily likes psychedelic art. That's not what I mean, right? Like I would have this experience where I would think a thought in my head, and then the next thing they would show me a piece of art, whatever style of art I was looking at, that was titled the words I just had in my head. Right. And the reason that I asked you about cold fusion was because I was thinking about cold fusion one night on this, and I still remember I have the images saved somewhere. There was I was thinking about it because I was researching it a lot at that point. Right. And it showed me one like sort of fractally psychedelic art thing, kind of type thing that was titled cold fusion. Right. And it didn't look that different than that. There's bring that picture back.
Yeah, just a moment. There.
Okay, so these parts here where it's like red and blue, like this part of it right over here, there's like a resonance between that and the image that it was showing me back 11 years ago, called cold fusion. Now, let me see, end the screen share. I just want to see, I'm going to see if I can find it really fast, right? I doubt I'll be able to because there's too many arts on let's see if I can find it though, and you will see what I'm talking about how similar it is if I can find it. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because it was so long ago. Oh, wow. Okay. But look at this. Okay, I found it. All right. So this is funny. And now we know, now we're going to be able to tell where your thing came from. All right. So the one that years ago was this one. See that red and the blue like that, right? And then I noticed there's one other one in here that looks like this. If you put this one and this one together, it looks exactly like what you have. So let me see what you have. Show again.
Yeah, you need to.
I'll stop my screen share. There you go.
I was also looking for it.
See, look, this
it's kind of like a receptacle with red and blue and some purple around it.
Yeah, right, kind of thing. So like, I think this is, my guess would be that this is this, whatever this is the flip side of that, right? So, and I tested, and what I would notice about the DeviantArt is it didn't work as well if I were searching on my computer as if I was searching on my phone. So when I'm sitting there, tactile, going like this, scrolling through, I'm looking at them and I'm having my thoughts. And somehow, as I'm I'm thinking thoughts, and a minute or two later, a picture will appear that isn't the picture of my thoughts, but is the title of the words that were my thoughts on a picture of something else, right? So like I would be thinking about my cat, Olivia, right? And there would not be a picture of a cat, but there would be a picture of a person titled Olivia, or a picture of a flower titled or whatever. So there was some way that it was reading. I don't know if this was a, I don't know what they were collecting all the way back then, right? if they were paying attention, if the camera on your phone was scanning your eyes and they're able to seep into your thoughts. Like, I don't know, right? But this feels like it's connected. This is, and even the colors of this app look like the colors that DeviantArt used to look like before they updated. What's this one? DMT.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's even possible that, how to put it, that probably it's not something that necessarily is being programmed to the site or to the phones, etc. But it's actually more like, from what we were talking before, it's that we are able to communicate with the technology, even if we don't know it. So maybe you're thinking something and it's got connected to the thought, some kind of electric or magnetic potential, which you transmit through touch, and somehow through the cables or through the ether or whatever, it reaches the thing and shows you your mind.
Well, this goes back to when I showed you the picture of that Brain Stars book, how the top of the head looked exactly like space, right? So like it kind of connects with that. The other thing that was fascinating about this website, so that would happen. I would be doing that like I told you, right? But the more incredible thing would be sometimes I'd go out to a party, I'd dance, I'd close my eyes, I had mushrooms or acid or whatever the fuck, right? And I would see all these incredible visions. And then later in the morning, I'd go home and I'd be looking at DeviantArt and I'd see one that looked just like the thing I saw in my eyes when I was at the party. And I would look, oh, this piece of art was posted during the time I was at the party. Wow. So is it my mind making it and somebody is receiving it and making the art, or did somebody make the art and my mind received it? Right. And it got to the place where I would like, so I noticed this a couple of times, and then I would come home from the party and purposely try and look for the thing I think I had seen. And almost always I could find something that was exactly like it, or if not exact, very, very close. Right.
Yeah. Like we are not just sharing things in. So we're this idea you mentioned of a two-way street, between the astral and the physical. So it's like whenever we're doing something in the physical, we are also doing it in the astral, and whenever something astral is happening, it's also happening physically. It's like happening in both places at the same time, because it can't happen any other way. And for example, here this is something that you kind of could see within a trip, right?
Yeah. And
let me generate it again. This is an interesting feature also, that you can try again and again and see what kind of evolution the thing that you're searching for gets in the processing of the thing, and the differences that can appear. And by the way, this is not a promotion for this thing. It's just
this is what's great. But I have to tell you, every single image except for the weird one of that was my face, whatever, these all look like things I used to look like on DeviantArt. Like I could go into my own DeviantArt account. I have thousands of pictures saved there, so it would take all day, and I could find you something that looks almost exactly like that. It has to be playing with the same stuff. Okay,
I remember,
go ahead.
Tell me.
Type in Mandela effect.
This is not here. What was interesting, once instead of DMT, I put dimethyltryptamine, and
that's what I was gonna ask you to do that. Okay, yeah.
Let's do it. I'm gonna search for it in the background here as we wait. No, I don't want to delete. Do you want me to send this one to you, or is it okay if I go back?
You can delete it. No, we're done now. Yeah,
Right? I think it's spelled like this. So we were seeing here, what was it that we wrote here? I think this was like another iteration of DMT, right?
Yeah.
And then, here, can you start to see why it's different?
Yeah.
It's
wow.
Like more,
so
more
that
scientific.
Is more giving you like that. That's giving you more like the sequence of it, like you would get if you were looking at like genetics on a computer or something.
It's more like mathematical.
Yep.
and more like, if you see the kind of shine that it has, is more metallic, and there's like yellow parts. So it's like it's more taking from images of the substance in a aluminum foil itself, and like pages from like scientific research or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Try. So did we have the Mandela effect? What happens to Mandela?
Yeah, this one is Mandela effect.
That's the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, actually. It's kind of interesting. It looks like a brain. Down here looks like a brain, and this looks like an image generated by the brain. So we're having a process and we're calling it a thing, right? The brain is doing something unusual with reality, and we are calling it a Mandela effect. And we have ones, there's the Bernstein Bears, there's the thing from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Each one, those up there look like pictures or computer screens, like they're as if there's one for each effect. But what we see down here is a brain processing. There's like something inside that looks like some sort of projector or a disc, and it's projecting something onto a screen. You see it? That's exactly what's happening. Okay, wait, do time travel.
Okay, and let me tell you something that I'm thinking about this one. It makes me think of the FPV angels, the idea, because the top thing, I don't know if you can see my cursor, seems like a strip mall or something like that, and like beneath it there is this more rainbow organic or
I see
psychedelic kind of thing too. Which one did you ask me just now?
Time travel.
No, again, I gotta go back and time travel. It's a really interesting exercise, right? Wow, it's scientific again, like letters and papers.
I like the colors.
And it's very fun to see the progression of like the different layers that it starts putting into the thing. Like when I started thinking,
that's pretty cool. I like it. It looks like the numbers on your credit card. So think about what we're told, right? Like money is currency, it's energy, right? And so maybe how something is going on with time is money, but also like why we have credit cards. Like maybe the credit cards are part of what's generating time the way that we think we understand it. Maybe before there were credit cards, time didn't move in the same way that it does now, right? It's so fast. Look how everything is blurry because of the swiftness. The name of the system for financial transactions is actually Swift. Yeah. Okay. There was another one that popped. So now let's look at quatrefoil. QAT, not an A, QATE, right there. Quatrefoil.
All together? Yeah.
There you go.
That's the thing from the
That's the four lobes. Yeah. Cool. Yep.
And I was saying that the thing that started making me kind of imagine how this was working is that I put in, I don't know if you know about them, the Bosnian pyramids.
Yeah.
So I wrote that, and the image that came was, then I went to Google, and it was like made from images from Google very clearly, and I started to understand it. And then it was like, wow, it's using like in a way the human mind, because that's where the images come from in a certain way.
So this is interesting because it's kind of like a mosaic and made of glass, right? And so of course
it's strange.
I talk about the quatrefoil on my show, right? That is looking weird. Okay, try you just said one that was interesting. What did you say? What was the thing you looked up and it was very clearly?
Yeah, the Bosnian pyramids.
Bosnian pyramids, let's see.
No, I keep doing this. Bosnian pyramids. And I'm saving this one. I'm gonna send it to you, and let's generate again and see what comes up.
Okay.
So you can kind of see like landscape and triangle kind of shapes, but then it starts putting in like little small village houses. And when you look at the images in, you see, like at the back, at the top, when you go to Google, there's images that have the pyramids, which are more like kind of grass in a way. They are not uncovered yet. And there's like small houses around the pyramids, and it's like a mixture from that.
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to think of, I'm trying to come up with one that would be like a funny test that I don't know.
You know, one that was also very interesting, I started doing with like names of spiritual teachers and like getting the reflection from the algorithm, the AI thing of what kind of impression of that name was and the difference between the different teachers. And it was very interesting too. Which one did you think?
Okay, so stop your share for a second. I want to show you something. Someone who listens to my shows sent me this yesterday.
And here's another one from the...
Oh, I like that one a lot too. Send me that one too. I love it. Okay, so stop the share for a second. I really like them. They're very cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
there.
So someone who listens to my shows sent me this yesterday. They sent it to Michael and I both, okay? They sent it to both of us. Let's see here. This person was in Philadelphia, right? City, Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. They were in a neighborhood called Fishtown, and look what they found.
That's crazy, eh?
Okay, so now type into your thing, Susquehanna Moyer. Susquehanna Moyer, and see what we get. Let's.
Fun. Let me see. Here is the window. Oh no, let me share the screen so here so people don't get too bored. I hope this is interesting for people too, and it's not boring to wait.
Well, it's just funny to play with the ideas, right? Yeah.
Am I writing them correctly? Yeah.
Yep, you got it perfect. Yep.
Cool. Let's see. At the same time, the weight is kind of interesting because you're like
totally.
It's kind of going to the casino and pulling on the thing and waiting for the sevens.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what the Moyer aspect of this.
I'm waiting to see. I'm like, what is it going to be? It's just the Susquehanna River. I'm trying to see if there's anything. I mean, no, it's just, they just didn't know what to do with it. Right?
Let's try again.
All right.
Well, and where is that corner that they sent you?
In Fishtown, Philadelphia. Yeah.
And that's close to the river.
Not too close.
No.
I mean, yes. Okay, well, here we go. It's this. So this one is totally different.
Mm. This is more like
But it's still mosaic. This is it's a mosaic. It looks like a mosaic up top, right? See?
And a picture from this artist, like Monet or one.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Okay, so I was trying to think if there was something else we were talking. Oh, okay. So wow, that's really cool. Okay, so look up, try outer space.
Oh.
And then we'll do a subconscious next.
Wow.
But you see things in there that look like pills or mushrooms or eggs or faces. This red, white, and blue one down here looks like there was a popsicle called a bomb pop when I was little that looked like that. Wow. Okay. All right. Now let's see subconscious. It's fun though. You can stay on this all day and never get any work done. It's like solitaire, right? Okay.
There's like a mouth with a mustache, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who talked about the subconscious.
And a brain, and there's like
And a
an
brain.
eye. Yeah. And there's colors dripping from it. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, this is a fun toy. How did you discover this?
Definitely. I'm studying video game development, and one of my teachers shared this because he thought it could be an interesting tool to create like artwork for like the documentation or stuff like that. And yeah, it's very interesting.
Do you like to play video games?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know. For how long have you been into this? For a long time? And
I've loved this all my life, but I never thought it could be something like to I thought of it more like something how to call it, like games, you know. It's not something like valid or valuable in a professional or a vocational sense. It was more like time off or whatever. And I'm not like extreme gamer, like hundreds of hours in front of the thing, because I have been a little bit like that when I was younger, and I understand it's very addictive for me. But I do have the aspect of creating the world and starting to make the different games and the players. And recently I started studying this tool called Unreal Engine, which it's actually got a most recent update. It's number 5, which has this like very extremely realistic, it's like on to the extreme, and it's a free tool that anyone can use. And the other day I had this understanding that I can like model and recreate my psychedelic trips within the tool. And it was like, oh wow, that's something interesting that I can do there. And I remembered Terence McKenna saying something like that VR would be great for people to, I can show you the inside of my mind, I think he said. And
I mean, that's one thing that I've always thought, right? Like the shit that I see when I'm tripping, particularly if I'm tripping at a party with a really good sound system, right? Like really good music, really good sound system, is always much better than whatever the visual show on the screen or the whatever it is. And I always thought, like, you know, and you have to be careful with these thoughts, right? Like, I wish people could see what I'm seeing in my mind, but I don't want people seeing in there unless I want to show them, right? So if there was a way that I could choose to project what I'm seeing onto the screen in front, like one of the things I always thought would be so cool was like a fantasy of mine is like you're at a party, the warehouse party, right? And there's the music is being played, and then the visuals are being projected from my mind, but nobody knows that. I'm just there dancing at the party and whatever, and no one knows that like I'm creating the visuals from my mind with my dancing, right? And what would really be cool is if other people were doing it too, right? And there was like, and I'm not saying this as like I approve of being able to read people's minds without their permission, or I'm not saying, I'm just like, if we lived in a world where like people weren't gross and we didn't have the problems we have, like what would be cool is like I'm dancing, I'm generating some cool shit, right? And someone else is doing it too. And whichever one is the coolest is the one that makes it is on the screen, right? And so there's like competition between people to generate the coolest vision so that they can, you know, and if yours makes it on the screen, you're doing it until for a few minutes until somebody else comes with some, you know, other idea or whatever, right? Like I love shit like that. I would love that. I would never stop. I would be in there dancing all the trying to win the coolest image award, right? So
yeah, I remember there's this show called Futurama from the creator of The Simpsons, I think it was. Where is They have this instrument which is kind of like a flute, and when they play the flute, instead of music only coming out, a kind of mist comes out and images start appearing, and so you can express visually your musical expression, right? A good picture of that. Well, whatever. It's if I find it, I'll show an image here. I don't know if I could show a video. Maybe we could get in trouble. So let's not do it.
It's probably okay in the patron segment.
Let me see.
To do that if you're not putting it on YouTube. Yeah.
Can you see some of the images?
Yeah.
Right,
well,
so,
that flute looks like a DMT pipe or meth pipe or something. Yep.
Right, like a shisha from the Middle East.
A holophonor. Okay, which that's weird because it sounds like Holodomor, which is like a terrible, thing that happened in history. But yeah, but that's what it is. So it's like that's like the DMT pipe.
Yeah, and as you start learning how to play the instrument, the images look better. So you can see one here in the middle where it's more like a childish kind of drawing, right?
Yeah.
But I guess he starts getting better at it and making more beautiful images. And so I guess he's able to, to create this.
Well, this is also from Terence McKenna, and he would talk about the singing that, right? Like that he would see the entities that would make words into pictures, and they would tell him to do it too, to do it now. You heard him say this, right? Yeah. You can do it too. Do it now. Do it now. Don't stop doing it. Okay, so what was I going to say? I had a thought about, there was something else you said. Oh, have you ever found any, like a artist who, like when you see their art, their psychedelic art, that's what it looks like to you? Like everyone knows about Alex Gray and his stuff is really good, right? But that's like, and I've definitely seen stuff that looks like that. I've seen some of those exact things. Sometimes before I ever heard of Alex Gray, some after. But have you ever found any others that it looks a lot like what you see when you're tripping?
Not sure or not exactly, but I have one here, and as you were saying, I looked at the thing and it's pretty good too.
Yeah, who's that one?
This is a girl called Kimi Sadanga.
That's pretty cool.
And she paints them like dot by dot.
Yeah, like pointillism.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one, I found this website a couple of years because I was trying to look. I was trying to see like how close to what I actually see that could I find, because for me a lot of times the colors are not accurately represented for my visual space by the like Chris Dyer or Alex Gray or some.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. They are the colors that are like, oh, you could. Wow. I should reach out to this guy and see if he wants an interview. For me, the Alex Gray things. I see what you mean.
All right. So for me,
more the black thing. Yeah.
Right. So for me, like, and what's interesting is he has different ones for different kinds of substances. And like, I don't see anything like this too much, maybe more when I used to do acid, but like these kinds of colors here, like when I see in my mind's eye, when I'm on mushrooms, a flower, it's like this, it looks like a flower, but if I look close, it looks like space and technology and, whatever. Like he has a bunch of different styles and visions that he talks about, but like I'll see a lot of stuff that looks like this over here or the flower. I'll also have trips where I see something that looks quite like this right here. I'll have ones with something like this. This is like ayahuasca. I've never done ayahuasca, but I've seen stuff like this on mushrooms. There's a couple more like this. I'll sometimes have stuff that looks a lot like this kind of thing. Right. And what I like about it is you see how if you look close, it's made up of other smaller things and right. So I see a lot of stuff like that. And then like, let's see, there's a couple, like sometimes I'll have something that's very much just like geometry and time, right? And I'll see a lot of images that look like this or this, the one over here. He's put up some new ones since last time I was at the website. They look really cool, right? But this, to me, his colors are more accurate for what I experience than the Alex Gray stuff or the
I think
Chris Dyer.
what makes them different is like the colors are sort of more translucent, and because for me it's always like there is this kind of black background where the things sort of appear, and it's true like the Alex Gray things and all of those, the colors are like too bright in a certain way. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, so this one here, like I have the same thing that you, most of the time it's like black background and the colors start to emanate, but 2 times I've had it where the background was white and then it looked very much like this kind of stuff, like this one here, right? That's not common for me, but 2 times I've had it where that was completely white background, right? And I don't know what the difference was. I don't know if it's a mood thing, if it's having to do with my cycle, if it's whatever it is, right? But to me, these colors, I'm going to reach out to this guy for an interview. I've been meaning to do it for a long time. Right? But this to me is more accurate, even if you take it out of the bright colors, because sometimes you have one that isn't as bright of colors. But to me, there's always this sort of very holographic, translucent edge to it, right? That I don't feel like Alex Gray captures for me. But we're not all the same. So why would we see this one right here? A lot of times when I'm taking mushrooms at a party, this, like when I get to a certain point of the trip, this is what the whole room feels like that, and inside my head, right? Like it's creating like a dance floor. It's like a psychedelic dance floor, right?
Can you go one row up and the one on the right, Holotropolis?
I love that one. Yeah.
That one I can relate to very much. Yeah.
All of the, like almost, there's a few like on his page here that like, that I don't ever have anything like that. Let me see. Like I don't ever see anything like this. This kind of stuff is not generally what I have. I can't say you know what? I've had stuff like that, but not these colors. Like I don't see these kinds of tones, but I've had designs like that. I don't really see anything like this. Right? Oh, and now when I open it and I see the lines, yes, I do. Right? The way it looks much different here than it did on the, right? Look how different it looks there. Then you can't see all the definition. Right. So when you can see the definition, I'm trying to find one that I've never seen anything like. Now his are pretty good, man. I've seen in some way, or I see lots of stuff that looks like the cells and the body, right? Microverse, like the part is inside the body is just like the outer space. I see a lot of stuff like this one, the microgram, right? I think he's obviously had enough trips in enough different frames of mind and moods that he's captured. I love this one down here too, right? Like the neon flux, but I've seen stuff like this, all of this kind of stuff. I think this guy's excellent, right? I have a lot of stuff like this on mine as well. The optech analysis, like an eyeball, right? And sometimes I'll have one that has a very 70s feel. This Optica one has like a very like 70s, very funky. Maniac. Yeah, right. But I love that. I could look at this shit all day. Like to me, the visions I have when I'm on mushrooms and stuff like that, I just want to look at that forever. Show me another one. It was kind of like playing with your art toy, right? Like another one, because it's a like a true collaboration between your mind and that which reality is made of. We have some chemicals, we have some substances, elements or whatever, and then we have this creative mind, and whatever we're thinking about meets up with whatever is happening chemically in our body or whatever, and it makes these things, right? Like it's very cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm gonna spoil an idea that just came to me, that somebody's gonna make it eventually, if they haven't done it already. This kind of art toy that we were playing with at the start, in if you were able to kind of project it in 360, you know, and maybe in VR or something like that, that would be a very interesting experience. Of course, it's
like wander around inside of your own vision.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of like looking at the vision with your eye, like the reversal we were talking about before, that outside, inside, eating your own tail. So I'm looking at something now, like it's all around me, right? Kind of thing. Yeah. I love that.
Of course, I don't necessarily think that VR is like, there's people that are like religious about VR and all these new technologies, and it's like people aren't walking, they are sleepwalking into all those things, I think. And so they are interesting, of course, just like anything else is interesting. But I hope people are able to like keep one foot in this reality, I guess, when they go.
I went to about, I don't know, maybe in 2016, something like that. I went to an art exhibit, right? That had a VR exhibit. It was terrible. I didn't think it was very, so whatever reality it created was nothing compared to those visions I just showed you, or the ones that I like in my mind. It felt very simple. It felt like kindergarten, and it was not, oh, like you can only step this far. If you step past this line, then you're out of the space of the VR. It was very, right. So I think that like, of course it's always getting better and better, but I was surprised for how much I know must exist based on the thoughts that I have had in my own mind. What's actually out there that people are sort of creating with on the known level is, I think, is still pretty pedestrian.
Yeah, you
right?
know, I actually think that I don't know how to put it correctly or exactly, but that technology isn't as advanced as we are led to believe by the people who would make a fortune from our belief that it is more advanced than it is.
So I think it's both. I think technology is much more advanced than our belief, and also technology is not as advanced as our belief. So I think that the metaverse is not coming. It's already here. It's all around us. We've been living in a holographic or a virtual reality that is completely mixed and immersive all around us for a really long time, right? But for some people, they don't believe that. So for them, they need the virtual reality and the goggles or the headset. And like that dictates the fact that technology, at least on a commercial scale, can only move along as fast as their belief system. So literally, when they put that shit on, they're going to see the same shit that I see without it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of tempered by what people believe is real.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I firmly believe that we're already living in a metaverse. Not everything that we see around us is the same as the other things. It's not all right. Like I think that we're living in mixed reality, and that things we think of as organic are just previous iterations of technology or of the hologram or the projection, and it just doesn't look like the kind that they tell us it's going to look like in the future, right? So we're mischaracterizing things. Laura spotted this really weird thing the other day that it was like, you know, when you see, do they have the 5G towers already in Montevideo?
I don't know. I guess they must.
Okay, so have you ever seen one of the 5G towers that they try and make it look like it's a tree?
Yeah, I've seen pictures. Yeah.
Okay. So she's telling me, she's like, do you see that one? It looks kind of like a 5G tower tree. I'm like, of course, they're everywhere, whatever. She's like, no, this one looks different. This looks like, look at it. It's so weird. And I was like, what the, I couldn't find it because I couldn't conceive of what she was getting me to look for. Right. And then I saw it. And what it was, you know how like the electric poles, some of them are like wood posts that have wires that connect them. It was one of those that somehow like some vines or trees started growing around. So it looked kind of like a fusion of a tree and an electric pole. And at first I was like, oh, that's weird. But the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, dude, that is a prior iteration of a 5G tower. Like that is a one from like 50s or 60s or something like that. And what was funny is just the day before I had noticed this really fucking weird thing. I thought there's like this wall on the trail where I exercise, and I thought that there was a painting of a plant on it. But I got close and no, it was a dried up plant literally pressed against the wall. And I'm like, that's fucking weird, dude. Like it was perfectly like, I can't explain it. Like it had fossilized itself into what looked like a mural of plants that they were trying to make it look real, right? I'm like, dude, that's some mixed reality shit right there, right? So I think that, you know, we're just always confused about what things are because we have an idea that is preached to us about what they will look like when they get here. So we don't recognize that we're living in that already. It just is a prior iteration, right?
Yeah, and so I want to leave people also with that idea of does art imitate life or does life imitate art, which is the same thing of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the physical world and the astral world, the two-way street, the serpent eating its own tail. It kind of feels like at a certain point, it's like kind of like an engine that it started and then it continues with this thing, the free energy device, you know, kind of.
Yeah, well, it's called over unity, right? Like it produces more energy than it uses, so it keeps repowering itself and generating more. I was just, so same thing, right? So we as humans, our minds are very curious and interested in space, right? To the extent that space exists, do you think it's as curious about us as we are about it?
I was thinking when you said that the aliens, when they come, they are interested in our minds. So we are interested, our mind is interested in them and they're interested in our mind.
But what about space? Because like space is a field and aliens would be beings that emanate from it, sort of just like us, right? But we think of them as being out there and we're down here. But what about space itself? Does space have an interest in those who inhabit it? Does Earth care about the people? Like this is an idea, oh, Mother Earth loves us all, right? Really? Like it's interesting to think about. When you eat the mushroom, right? Is the mushroom excited that it's going to trip Rafa?
Yeah,
it's going, so. Right? Like, does the mushroom have an experience of you in the same way that you have an experience of the mushroom? See what I'm saying?
So, yeah. I think that's totally it. And they are, like, for example, Mother Earth, or, you know, these other beings are so different and so they live in another. I mean, this is at the same time true and not true, but just for the sake of talking about it, it's like they live in another kind of time and space, a different kind of perspective. So we would say kind of very immaturely or childishly, oh, Mother Earth loves you, but also Mother Earth has earthquakes and lots of destructions, tsunamis, volcanoes, whatever. And we would think, oh, then no, it doesn't love you because it does cruel things. But from the perspective of a being so big, it's like when I scratch here, I maybe kill
like an earthquake. Yeah.
And the cells might think I hate them, but I'm very thankful for my cells, because if it wasn't for the trillions, I couldn't have a body. But
something about those,
I don't care.
So something about the few there, like you're having to rearrange them a little. So you scratch them and you're not wanting them to go away. You just need them to, like, it's like when you rearrange the furniture in your bedroom, because you need to have a little more space. You're not throwing the furniture away. You don't hate, right? You need to move it around. Yeah. It's weird to think of stuff like that. Like, and I wonder if, like, when like a shark eats a person, is it the way that it is for us, like when we eat steak? Because you and I've never eaten a cow that's alive. We eat the thing after it's dead. But when a shark eats a person, they're eating a person that's alive. Do they have some experience of that person, or do they ingest that person's thoughts, memories, feelings, ideas? Like, is it different because they're eating it live, right? Like what we don't, with plants, in some cases you can eat them, or with certain animals, like you catch a fish, you can eat it pretty quickly, but you're not ever eating the fish while it's alive. I mean, I guess some people have done that. They'll bite that. You see, if you watch like what's it called? Did you ever watch The Deadliest Catch?
No.
Oh, that's I used to be so obsessed with that. So that's the show with the crab fishermen. They're catching the crab, right? I must have been a crab fisherman in a prior life, because
You're Cancer.
Yeah, I'm a Cancer. You got it, right? So like, very watery. But I live for the moment when they bring it up to see how many crabs they caught, right? Like, I don't know why, I fucking love that. But they had some ritual at the end of the season. They bite the head off of a fish and, whatever. But we don't think about that, right? So like, what is for the, mushrooms are not, well, I wonder about the mushrooms. Like I have mushrooms, like sitting around, are they thinking? Right? Or is it, are they thinking? Are they still sort of alive? Are they fossils? Right? Or is it more just like the hard drive for the computer? Like my hard drive is not thinking. If I plug it into the computer, I can open up the files and it shows me things. So is the information stored on the mushroom? Right? Or is it actively, like, would the mushroom be like, I'm not talking, this is getting very weird conversation, but I understand that it's a synergy of whatever's going on in my body and mind, and then what's in the mushroom. But if, let's just say I was exactly the same.
And the space between also, it's like, I think of it electromagnetically. It's like there's etheric or whatever things floating around also that for some reason, some shapes can like channel through or something.
Yeah, for sure. But like, what if we were able to make it so that I was exactly the same today and tomorrow, and the weather was the same and everything else the same? If I ate the mushroom today and if I ate the mushroom tomorrow, would it be different? Because has the mushroom changed at all? Like, is it sitting there thinking in the, you know what I mean? Right? Like, I just wonder. And, because if the shark ate the person today or tomorrow, all this stuff is so weird. Like, we don't, like, these are all reasonable questions.
I think if you didn't change, nothing would change.
Right. So you don't think the mushroom changes?
The mushroom couldn't change either, because it's like the butterfly effect, one little thing implies that everything else is different.
Right.
I think so.
But these are important questions, right? Like think about how much time, money, effort, space on videos and TV is spent. Like, does Joe Biden have dementia or does he not have dementia? Like, why are we not talking about this on the news? These are much better questions, right?
Definitely. Okay, Emily, thank you so much. I want to respect that you have an appointment later. Yeah. So we could continue talking about this stuff forever. We should make like 5-hour shows or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes I do. I think I had one almost 4 hours yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm looking forward to that one.
All right.
So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for being with us, for your patience watching the pictures. I hope you had fun. You had some interesting time. I'll share the link to the art toy so that you can try it out for yourselves, and please don't waste all your time in the
but, all right, send me those ones that you made, those quatrefoil ones. Some of those were cool.
And people try to make it like an exercise of like looking at your own mind and seeing what the pictures tell you. So with that, please, Emily, share if you want again your links. And,
I just say same as in the beginning, right? EmilyCMoyer.com, patreon.com/offplanetmedia, emilymoyer.locals.com, and rockfin.com/Emily Moyer. Thank you so much, Rafa. Always nice to spend a little time with you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, let's talk and meet again very soon, all right?
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.